Donald Trump has published, I can't say for sure that he's written it. Maybe he did. Maybe he just had it published. I don't know. But Donald Trump has published a letter about the impeachment trial that starts today. Now, recall that Donald Trump is the only president in history to be impeached twice, and his second trial starts today. The first day of debate is actually going to be about whether the impeachment trial is constitutional. If that gets 51 votes or 50-50 with Kamala Harris as the tiebreaker, saying that the trial is constitutional, then the trial will sort of start in earnest tomorrow. So Donald Trump wrote a letter yesterday arguing that the trial is not constitutional. Donald Trump wrote from the office of Donald J. Trump with a sort of presidential looking seal, statement on the next phase of the unconstitutional impeachment trial. President Donald J. Trump's legal team issued the following statement regarding the next phase of the unconstitutional impeachment trial. President Trump and his counsel are pleased that there was bipartisan support on how to structure the impeachment trial. We appreciate that Senate Republican leadership stood strong for due process and secured a structure that is consistent with past precedent. Past precedent, by the way. This process will provide us with an opportunity to explain to senators why it is absurd and unconstitutional to hold an impeachment trial against a private citizen. Now, hilariously, the letter has the presidential seal at the top. It says President Donald J. Trump's legal team. It says President Trump. And then it says it's all unconstitutional because this is just a private citizen. This is just some guy. You can't do this. I've never seen private citizens use the seal in letterhead for private letters. It's very interesting that Donald Trump is doing that. Now, I know he gets the title president for life, but if you want to play up the unconstitutionality of the trial based on Trump being a private citizen, maybe play down the references to President Trump, maybe don't have the presidential seal taking up half the page. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but if a private citizen incited an insurrection, that would also be a big deal. And we're actually going to talk about the criminal aspect a little bit later when we look at some statements from Senator Rand Paul about this. But it's being overlooked that private citizens also would have repercussions for inciting insurrection. So the Trump legal team and Trump together, it's like the blind leading the blind. They want to pretend he's still president, but also say he can't be tried because he's not the president anymore. And the logic doesn't pass the sniff test. If a CEO of a company is charged for embezzling and then fired, and at the time of the trial, they've been fired, right? They're no longer the CEO. Could they say, well, you can't, I don't work there anymore. You can't try me for embezzlement. I'm not there anymore. This is the exact same thing that's going on with Donald Trump. He was, by the way, impeached while in office. Trump was still president. Not that it matters, but Trump was impeached while in office. So imagine being, I don't know, one of these lawyers and having to deal with Donald Trump right now. And it probably explains this letter, seeing this letter explains much of why many of Trump's lawyers quit last week. And on the merits, it's completely constitutional. Even if they had not impeached Trump until after he was president, it would still be constitutional. But Trump was president when he was impeached. This is merely the trial. So there is no good legal argument for why the trial can't happen after Trump is out of office. Trump is a scam. This is all a scam. And from the point of view of Trump's unending narcissism, he's also planning to have his lawyers portray him as the victim during these entire proceedings. And I want to talk about that next. I'm really excited that one of our sponsors today is Helix Sleep. I sleep on a Helix mattress at home. I absolutely love it. And that's why I reached out to them about sponsoring the David Pakman Show. Buying a mattress in the past was always a huge guessing game for me. I didn't know what I actually needed. I didn't know what I would like. But Helix has a sleep quiz on their website. You tell them your body type, your sleeping position, your back pain issues you might have, and their tool matched me with a mattress that is perfect for me. It's cool enough at night. It's the right firmness. I generally just do way better sleeping these days because of the mattress. Helix was awarded #1 best overall mattress for the last 2 years by both GQ and Wired Magazine. It is well deserved, I can tell you firsthand. Every Helix mattress comes with a 10-year warranty. You can try the mattress risk-free for 100 nights, and they will even come pick it up at your house if you don't love it, but I know you will. All of my viewers will get up to $200 off your order, and you'll get 2 super premium pillows for free when you go to the link right underneath this video.